Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the All About session Internet. This is our third session, and please don't forget to subscribe and like video on YouTube so that you get the latest updates. So, uh, before starting, we will have to review what we have done so far. All right, so we started from a single user who was sitting at home and trying to browse a website which was hosted in our data center. So we could understand that we have got one ISP router. Then we have got some more paths to access that website, and the website name was xyz.com, and it was translated, or say the from the DNS resolution which happened, right, from xyz.com to 10.10.45.34, right? So we have got the DNS services, ISPs, routers, switches, firewalls, website, browser, TCP, UDP, high availability also we understand. And the current topic that we are discussing about the data center. So I have little bit modified the picture in order to, just to save the time. So we will review the data center architecture or say network today, and how does it look like. So it is looking pretty simple right now, but I think when we will be finishing the session, then it will be little bit more interesting and little bit complex. It will not be much complex, I guess, and we will be able to, understand what is happening around. So while we zoom in, day by day, our picture is getting more and more, kind of getting more information, and there is a lot that is happening in here. Right. So we have the perimeter network, we have got a presentation layer, right? And we have got the application layer. It is a big layer, but generally the database layer is bigger. Okay, the application layer is pretty small, but we will see that what kind of implementation that we are doing and what is going to be the size of our implementation. What I have done over here is that it is a app one. Okay, it has got 3 servers and it has got the app storage, right? And it is very less, but it is definitely in the real world scenario, it is very, very, very big, right? Okay, and this is the database zone, okay, and also database layer, and you can see the database server which is clustered, and it has got the database storage. Obviously I have made more over here just because of some good reasons. There are firewalls in between, but we will, when we will be transforming this entire picture into a realistic picture, these all things will go. This is just for your understanding as of now, that there are routers implementation, there are firewall implementation, server implementation, there are subnets, right? There are VLANs, there is a connectivity, there is security applied, right? So okay, let's extend this session now. Okay, and we will today concentrate on the application layer mainly, that how it is, and we will try to put the details in here. All right, so let's say that earlier there was only one application that you can see, but we were not talking about some other things, right? The other things are like there should be one DNS server within the database, within the data center. There should be one authentication LDAP in the data center, right? So that the authentication can work. So the users will have to connect to the servers with their IP addresses or their DNS names, right? Okay. Now, what it will look like that if this server is having one name, all right? So let's put a name over here for this server, just for the understanding purposes. So I can say this server name is kind of S1, right? Okay. F1 dot ixyz.com. All right, or dot local. I will tell you the purpose of this. Okay. Now, when we carefully select the name of any device, I will zoom in into here. Okay, then this device name should ideally contain a logical name of the device, like in which data center it is. Okay, so if this is a multi-location, or say it is a big organization and it has got multiple location. So first of all, this should contain the first two characters should be containing the name of that location. So suppose this is in US, okay, and we have got another location in Australia, okay. So if this is in US, so what I will put is that this is the US server, okay, and then this is this is my which application, okay, or say this is the Windows server, or this is the Linux server, or this is a Unix server, right? Or I can classify it like whether it is a Windows server or it is a Linux server or it's a Unix technology server. So it is US server and it is the Linux server, okay, and this is for app 1, okay. So how many characters it has become? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. It is not limited, but there are some limitations, right? So we will have to understand those limitations also. Okay. Going forward, we will talk about each and everything when we will be doing the installation, and we will be understanding how to put the names of the devices and all. Right. We have to be very careful. We have to be very choosy in order if we want to put a correct name, correct nomenclature, correct and the correct IP addresses. So this is what we are learning in here. That's why little bit complex but worthy to know. Okay, just note down that this is, and accordingly the other server name will be USLN APP2 and APP3 likewise, and IXYZ.local. Okay, I have put it a DNS name, so there should be a DNS server, of course, that will be within the data center. Okay, now while I say that, there should be, what is a DNS, what kind of application is a DNS server? This is the infrastructure application. All right. It means, and there should be LDAP. If somebody want to log in on this server, they can log in using the local username and password. But if you want to put the centralized authentication, now we will come on that part also. Okay, very much in detail. That if you want to put the centralized repository and centralized control, so that we know that who can log in into the system, what permissions somebody can have, okay, and we can log it into the centrally on a central location, that who is logging onto the server, what somebody is doing, like a syslog server. Now, what is syslog? Okay, we will talk about that. So whatever is happening on our data center infrastructure, server, network, we should log it. And the best thing to log it is the very simple syslog server. Okay, we will talk about this. We will implement that also. Okay, then we should monitor our server. We should take the backup of those server. These all are called infrastructure application, and for that we should have a separate zone because those should be very much secured. Please note, I just said monitoring and backup. We will talk about this very much in detail. Right. So what I'm going to do in here is that I'm going to add one more zone, right, and that zone will be called application zone. It's very simple to understand. I will just put some formatting in it, and I will fill it no fill, and kind of time color, line style, and I will take the width very less so that it will occupy less space. And values, all of the margins, right? Okay, what applications it will have? We were talking about this, yeah. We were talking about this, and we were saying that it will have LDAP, DNS, monitoring, backup. All right, we'll talk about these things. So let me put some font color in it. Okay. LDAP, DNS, monitoring, backup. After that, DSCP can also be there. It's not mandate, but it is there. It can be for some purposes. Okay, and then syslog we also talk about. That will be our logging system, right? So these are all called infrastructure applications. So what we are going to do about it? So LDAP works on normal port 389, and if we want to secure it, it is 636. DNS works on port number 53. DHCP was DHCP is the protocol that we will discuss about it in detail, okay, and how does it implement, and that time we will be looking at that in this port it will work, what are the configuration that need to be done and all. Okay, syslog server, it also work on a particular port, monitoring also, backup also. So there are solutions which need to be implemented for that. Okay, so LDAP, let's talk about LDAP over here. What is the full form of it? This is lightweight direct lightweight directory access protocol. Okay, DNS we know, DSCP we know already. So what is actually directory? Okay, directory about all of the users. Okay, and their schemas which will contain information that in which group it belongs, and those groups get the permissions on the particular server or say storage, or you can say any device like router access, firewall access and all. Okay, and definitely why I have mentioned over here the port, because what will happen eventually is that we will have to put a very nice strong firewall over here so that nobody can touch it. So the problem over here is that if because this contains the credentials for each and every device, okay, user name, password, each and everything is stored in here. So we will have to log. Now, what we will have to do, these all will connect over here. All right. So let me connect. Definitely it is going to be little tough. Okay. So this entire zone, I'm not saying only this, entire zone will connect over here. Right. This will connect over here. Entire zone I'm talking about. Okay. And they will also connect the presentation layer will also connect. So everyone will connect to these infrastructure applications. Okay. And while everyone will connect and they will try to access their authentication related information, their DNS resolution related information internally. Okay, so and they will be storing the logs in there, and they will be monitoring. The monitoring will, how does monitoring works? Monitoring works 24/7. Backups normally runs in night, right? or depending on if there is any billing application which is there, and they run the billing application in the night, then backup will happen. Obviously, backup will happen in daytime. Okay, so backups normally run on in the off-peak hours. Okay, so we will have to understand about the peak hours and the off-peak hours whenever we are doing the design. Okay, very short period, we are trying to learn a lot of things. There will be lots of questions. You can always go on YouTube and ask your question. I will try to answer your question, or if not, then I will try to cover that in my next session. Okay, so this is a simple thing which looks like over here. Okay, that everyone, let me try to color this into red. That is because if I'm going to color it into red, I will be we will be able to understand that this is all infrastructure connectivity. Okay, so format object. Okay, dash type. Let's put little dashes. Okay, and the line color will be, let's put it something reddish. Okay, and let's very light. Yeah. Okay, now it looks better. Little less complex actually, but understandable that these are the infrastructure communication which is going on. Okay, so we will have to install the LDAP server, DNS server. So users will connect. Okay, the anything will happen on the basis of the DNS name. So resolutions are happening. Correct. One critical part over here is that for monitoring and backup. Normally in data centers, what happens is that different VLANs are placed. Okay, so different, what does it mean? Different VLANs. It means that the there are three networks. Okay, let's put one more box over here. Okay, the text box. Okay, so what are those? One is the production VLAN. Okay, monitoring and backup. So there are three kind of VLANs. What does it mean and how it will impact us? Because it will impact us because what is going to happen? Each and every server will start having three IP addresses. Okay, let's browse or say zoom in. Okay, so this will be one interface for this server. This server will have another interface. Okay, and that will be our monitoring interface. You can say that 11.11 or say 11.12.4.6, and it will be monitoring interface. Okay, and then I will put another interface over here, and this will be say 13. Okay, and this will be backup. All right, I hope this is pretty much clear and it is not that much complex. So I will put the monitoring color in green. Okay, and the backup color in say brown. Okay, so there are three interfaces on the server. Let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about this, that how it will look like. It means that monitoring is green and backup is brown color. That means they want to connect over here. It means this is also the monitoring and backup are the infrastructure applications, but they do require a different kind of or say a separate VLAN. Okay, this will be completely separate VLAN. Okay, right. So this will connect it to this. So certainly we will have to place another firewall in here. Okay, and there will be another firewall for backup. Correct. I hope it is not getting very complex, but in order that we want a fair understanding of the data center network, we will have to make sure that we are understanding the very right thing. Otherwise, what will happen eventually that we will not get the right picture, and this is all we are doing to get the correct picture. Okay. So definitely that I will have to change the color of it, right? So line color I will have to change. So I will go to design and I'm not getting that option over here. So I will. This is just an example. Okay. I'm not going to connect all of the servers over here with this, but I'm going to definitely show you, explain you that what happens when we design the network. Okay, of a data center. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so overall it looks like that. Now we have got one more zone, that is infrastructure applications, and it has its own kind of system. Now coming back to our IT staff. Okay, this IT staff also connects to the data center. How do they connect? They have got a VPN tunnel. Okay, now what is a VPN tunnel? If I say, okay, I say this, and I connect to this, and they connect in here. Okay, right. So I will just, okay, VPN tunnel. Right now I'm saying VPN tunnel because they might be sitting in a different office. Okay, or they are sitting currently in this period. Everyone is at home and they use the VPN tunnel to connect. Okay, so that's why I'm putting VPN tunnel. But there is a corporate VLAN that is extended to the wider buildings in the offices and all. Okay, we will talk about this, but today we have to understand this. There is a VPN tunnel while somebody is trying to connect. Okay, so this can be IPsec tunnel, and this can be a VPN provided by your kind of ad hoc basis, Cisco VPN and all, right? So those are the technology. There are many technologies actually. We'll talk about this in coming up session. But over here, just try to understand. This is how your entire, kind of. This is still we are only talking about the 30% of the network terminologies. There are many, many, many more things that we will have to cover in the coming up sessions. But as I said, the VPN tunnel, and this is how does it look. People can connect over here, authenticate, and work. These users' credentials will exist in the LDAP. Okay. Now this user will be able to, as I said, able to authenticate from this LDAP. So certainly this user needed to have access in here. So what happens is that there is another peripheral or say parameter network created over here, and they all connected to a certain VLAN. That is how it is extended. Okay, and they get a very limited access over here. Okay, very limited. We will design that completely. Okay, but try to understand these IT staffs gets authenticated by the LDAP, which is very much inside the data center. It cannot be anywhere in the world. But at the same time, we have to understand we have got cloud. Authentications happens through cloud applications as of now. Okay, in AWS, in Azure, there are mechanisms, and companies have started migrating their authentication on cloud. That the reason is the resource reliability and the security. Okay, but there is information which cannot be placed in the cloud, like you've got the customer information. Okay, customer date of birth, customer mobile number, customer credit card number, and you know that whatever companies are there, if they are getting the payments through credit card, they have got a form in which user will have to enter their credit card number, expiry date, and then CVV number, right? So those all are stored. Those all are stored in the company database. Okay, and that cannot be placed in the cloud ever. So that is the requirement of the personal or private data center or private cloud or private virtualized environment for any company. Simply for good reasons, they cannot put it in the cloud. Okay, because clouds are whatever clouds are there. Okay, those are very much in that's a company, that's itself a company. Whatever signups they do, okay, there is always a threat that that company data can be lost, stolen, or anything can happen. So any uh, companies end user data will never ever exist in cloud as of now. Okay, unless there is some major policy change which is coming, a major technological change. All right, so this is how it looks like normally. Okay, today's another purpose is to look at that what are the things that are placed in data center. Okay, so we will go to the next slides, how server looks like, how a router looks like, how a switch looks like, and some other peripherals. So I will just go on the next slide. Okay, the next slide, we know that what kind of devices we have, and we put the pictures of those devices. So these are the devices, the switch, those are kind of a firewall, voice router, access point, host, and network. Okay, these are the different kind of routers. You can see the pictures of different kind of routers, the icons, I will say. Okay, so this is the broadband router. Okay, this is normal router, switch router, net flow router, IAD router, and many more. Okay, so while we are designing, we will have to put the correct pictures, so that whenever we are doing the architecture, people understand that what are the things that they have included in their data center architecture. Let's go to the next picture. This picture, probably this is the thing that I don't think that any one of you is going to access. This is the network interface card that was also called NIC, and this is having one RJ45 connector, and the chipset is RTL8139C, I guess that will be. Okay, so now I tell you that there was a time when we were having the our you can say cabinets. In there was a motherboard, and that motherboard, if you wanted to connect it to the internet, or if you want to have a LAN connection, then we were supposed to have this inserted into our laptop or say computer, and after that we had to connect one cable to the switch, right, or router, and then only we were able to get the network or network connection, right? It was quite complex. You are not going to see that, okay, in your life. I don't think so. You will have to ever see, right? And then the next thing is the Wi-Fi router. You see that every day in your home. This is a simple switch, right? This is a firewall, you can say, or this is a router, or this is a switch as well, right? This looks like same, almost same. There are some characteristics which are inside. There are modules which are inside, and those are pretty much for the configuration. Okay, and then we go to another device that's from a different company, but the device looks pretty same. But that is a router, and this is a firewall. That is the difference. Okay, so you will you never know that what is inside unless you read the specification. And this is a simple rack which is from the back side, and there are so many servers or say network devices are there which are connected, and this is pretty good I will say formed network, right? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Here we see a few, you can see that servers are there. These are some servers. Okay, this is 1U server, this is a 2U server, okay, and this is a 2U storage, simple. Okay, so what is a 1U? If you see this rack over here, this one point is 1U. So this will be just go and fit in here. Okay, pretty good picture. Okay, I can explain you that these are the hard disks over here. Okay, and this is the power switch. This is a CD-ROM which we can use to install. Okay, and this has got one USB connectivity as well, USB, and this is for the console, right? Console cable, and this is a chassis. Okay, this is a chassis of a blade server. What is a blade server? So this is a rack mounted server. First of all, I want to say, okay, there are tower servers as well. I'm not showing any here, but you can go and Google that. Okay, this is a chassis which is currently the technology that is very much in use in the data center. What happens is that instead of having so many, so it saves a lot of space. So this is the half chassis. This is not the full chassis also. Okay, this is the half chassis. This is a HPCC 3000 chassis from the front, and it is from the back side. Okay, as you can see, it has got a lot of fans, and this is a half-heighted server. So if I put it in this rack, it will be going like this. Okay, let me take it on the front. Okay, let me send it to back. It will come into the front, and it will sit like this. Okay, it will practically sit like this. It will look like that. Okay, and it will so it will be consuming how many use? 1 2 3 4 5 6 or 7 use. That it will 6 use, I guess, so that it will be having, it will be occupying. Okay, and there will be a lot of cables from the back end, and it will be connected. As you can see that it has got power, so many power supplies in here, so to power these blades. And this is a blade server. So we insert a blade server like this, that's a blade server. Okay, we just put it, we just insert it, correct. We just insert it. So in this, you can see that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 half-heighted servers can be there, and there can be 4 full-heighted servers, right? And there is C6000 chassis as well, in which we can put more servers for more capacity, for more CPUs and all. Okay, and this is a full 42U rack. It means 42U. It means that if I'm going to put, I can put 42 1U devices. Simple. All right, but there should be some space with the in between the devices for the air ventilation. Some brushes should be there. Okay, to to filter the air. Okay, so it will not be all 42 devices. It will become quite heavy, so we cannot load the entirely this rack entirely, but that's a empty rack, 42U rack. Okay, it looks like this. It has got panels on the side. These panels can also be removed. Yeah, Let's go to next slide and we will see that how a server looks like. So a server you were seeing on the front right, and now it is its top panel is open, and now we see that it has got one CD-ROM, one Xeon processor is also there. This is the processor you can see, right? And it has got the memory slots as well. Correct. And it has got the power supply as well. Okay, let's not get into the details. I don't think that in current world of cloud we all will have the opportunity to look at this picture in the real. Okay, I hope that we will not have to do. And this is the storage rack. Okay, these are the storage devices. You can see that this is one disk, this is one disk. This disk can be of 8 terabyte as well. So roughly, if you see how many disks are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Say, if I say the calculation, if I will open the calculator, okay, and if I say that 8 TB disks multiplied by 24, so one device storage uh, will be 192 terabyte. Okay, and how many? If it and if this is going to be let's say 2U device, okay. So there can be approximately 20 devices in here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so even if I say it is 10, so this rack can have 1920 terabyte alone, at least I would say. Okay, very simple. So in a data center, you can see multiples of rack like this, multiples of rack like this. So you can imagine the capacity in the data center. Okay. Shortly, we are going to we will go back on our first slide, and we will enhance that. That's the reason I'm telling you the capacity over here. Okay, let's go to next. And this is how a rack looks like. Okay, this is how a rack looks like from the front. This is the people that when they complete their job in a data center, they say that, oh, I did it again, because this is their everyday job. All right. So this is how it looks from the back end when it is done very cleanly, but you can see on website that the messy internet, the messy cabinets, and you will get to know a lot of messy things, lots of things. Okay, let's go back in here. So what happens? Uh, let's go back to the data center view. Yeah, I will zoom in. So while we say this is about data center, definitely that this is not enough. Okay. And when we will say that this is not enough, then what is going to happen eventually? That we will all have to take all these things down. Okay. And the area will become little big. Correct. And these will all be copied, or say, I will say that the capacity, if I will have to show, then we will have to look at like this. Correct. What it means is that there will be a different VLAN altogether just for the storage area. Got it? It means that how many VLANs we have created over here. One was the database server, okay, where all of the database servers were there. Another is the application server. Another is the presentation layer. Another is the perimeter layer. And then the infrastructure applications. And within the infrastructure applications, so there are monitoring and backup devices. So how many VLANs have happened? Now to connect those all of VLANs, what we need? A gateway. And gateway can be configured on switch and a router. Right? Okay. Now, I would like to ask a question that if so many things are there, how many devices we are going to put it in the data center? How many network devices and how many firewalls? How many routers? How many switches? Answer is simple. All of these devices are not connecting to the firewall directly. They are all connecting to, I will show you. Okay, we go back. Okay, let me choose this. Okay, let me go back. Let me put it here. Okay, all right. So I will put a network device over here. Correct. These all of these devices will connect not here. They will connect to this device. Correct. They will connect to this device. They will connect to. They will also connect to this device. Okay. Maybe or not. Okay, let me not connect that over there. Okay, let me zoom in as well. Yeah, so they will all connect over there. Okay, and they will also connect over here. They will also connect over here. Okay, and this device will get practically connected over here, and logically this device will exist somewhere here. All right, so if I will show it correctly, it will look like this. Okay, it's not very tough to understand. I hope still pretty understandable. So we have got the database servers connecting over here. We have got the applications connecting over here. So internally, what happens eventually? Okay, now there will be a question from our side that all of people that they are connecting over here. They are connecting. So this is the same device in which they can connect from here to here, right? And that is the reason. What will happen eventually is that there will be a little more change in the configuration within. Okay, and what will be the configuration change within is that this device, if this device is connecting to this, okay, on the green one, okay, then then it will get a different route. Okay, and that route will be defined to connect to the firewall. On the firewall, there will be one rule that allows this VLAN to connect to another. Okay, now the important thing on a general firewall, there are only two kind of rules: allow or deny. Allow or deny, right? By default, everything is denied. Okay, then we can change it to by default allow everything, and then we can block. But what we have to do, we have to deny. Firewalls are to deny. Okay, so we will deny everything, and then we will start allowing one by one, what can connect to what. So this VLAN can connect to another VLAN. So this app VLAN, okay, this 11.4 can connect to this VLAN. We can configure. Also, what we can configure is that if we say that these two are the front end servers, okay, these two are the front end server, This is the middle tier server. So practically, these two servers will connect to the presentation layer, and then these servers will send their request to the backend server, and this backend server will connect to the database server, right? Then in that case, what will happen eventually, that this server, okay, will connect to the switch, and we will put the firewall rule that 11.11.4.4 can connect on the database server. No one else can connect to the database server. Sorry, I will have to delete these. Okay, because everyone is connecting to switch. Everyone is not connecting to any device directly ever. Sounds good? In fact, this database, okay, storage also goes and connect to the fiber switch. It is not directly connected. It is not directly connected anywhere. All right? Simple. Okay. So this is what we did, and what we learned over here is that there are infrastructure applications as well. There are switches to which devices connect, switches connected to the firewalls, okay, and then firewall allows further connectivity. So we will, in next session, we will modify this picture little bit more, and we will try to understand in depth that how the authentication works, how the routing works, and how the switching works. We will get into the details, and for that, to make sure that you are attending the next sessions and you get the update that when I'm going to upload the next video, please subscribe and like on the YouTube. And if you want this PowerPoint presentation, regular updates, please put your contact details or connect with me on YouTube. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. Bye-bye. See you in the next session.